And we are live. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to a very special edition of Off the Record on the People's podcast this afternoon. We have a magnificent guest with us today, one who is going to give us some amazing information as well as inspiration, and that is none other than our brother Gregory Muhammad out of Philadelphia. Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Wa alaikum salam, sir.
And on behalf of myself, my family, and the viewing audience of the People's Podcast, we just want to thank you again for taking time out of your busy schedule to come have a conversation with us so that we can hear your amazing life journey. The first question that we have for you, sir, is when did you first hear the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad?
Let me first say, in the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful, I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, and I bear witness that the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad is his Messiah and exalted Christ, and I further bear witness that their true servant, divine reminder, divine warner, is the Honorable Minister Min Farrakhan. So I will start with, I was 16 years old in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and I was in a gang. The gang was called 25th and Allegheny Avenue. One night, my brother came to the house and he told me that he met a Muslim. And I said to him, a Muslim? What is that? What's that, a new gang or something? What's a Muslim? So he said, no, it's a brother. He's down on Bailey Street. I said, oh, okay, well, I'll see him someday. So I didn't take it as exciting or anything like that because my mind was in the street. So one night we were gang warned and I was running down the street and I had a soda bottle in my hand. And I went to throw the soda bottle and a brother snatched my arm and he spun me around and said, brother, why would you want to hit your brother in the head and bust your brother in the head when he's blood of your blood, bone of your blood, bone, and skin of your skin? I said, oh man, get off me. Who are you, man? The police? What's up? He said, no, I'm your brother. My name is Brother Raymond X. I said, well, what you talking about? He said, listen, brother, I just want to talk to you for a minute. So he talked to me and he calmed me down and I listened. Then I said, what you say your name was again? He said, Brother Raymond. I said, oh, my brother told me about you a few nights ago. So you, Brother Raymond? He said, yes, I am, brother. He said, why don't you step in the house with me? I want to share something with you. So I went in and he showed me Message to the Black Man, Fall of America. He had Muhammad Speaks. He had Bean Pies. He owned a storefront. He had just moved in the neighborhood. So I told him about my brother and he said, well, I want to take y'all to the temple Sunday. Will you go? I said, yes, sir. Yes, sir. I will go. So me and my brother went to the temple, but I have to say this. I know we don't have enough time to go into everything, but my father was a Philadelphia police officer. And how did you get in the street as a member of a gang? Because of peer pressure. I was a victim of peer pressure. I gave in, became a member of the gang. My father never knew what I was doing, until I got in trouble. I got in trouble a few times and he found out about it, okay? So, all right, going back with me and my brother going to the temple with Brother Raymond. We went to temple number 12, abroad in Susquehanna, for those who are familiar with the Philadelphia area and that time period. And we sitting in there, Minister Jeremiah Shabazz was speaking. And he was speaking about the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. So after the message and the acceptance call was offered, myself and my brother, we both accepted that same day. And we were told that we would have to come to orientation class, which would be held on Tuesday. And we was trying to figure out how we was going to do that without letting my father know, because he didn't know that we was going to the temple. So we was like sneaking to the temple on Sunday and on Tuesday. So one Tuesday, my father, he was working 4 to 12, the 4 to 12 shift.
Yes, sir.
He came home early one evening. we had Muhammad Speaks in our bedroom.
Mm.
And when we came into the house, he said, okay, you boys down there? We said, yes, sir. He said, I'll be down there in a minute. We seen on the dining room table, Muhammad Speaks sitting there. Oh, he found out. So he came down. He said, first thing I want to know is who brought this Muhammad such and such in my house? And we looked at each other because I'm always the one that have to take it. So I took it. He said, I don't want this in my house. Do you know anything about those Muslims? I said, well, yes, sir. We went to services. He said, no. You don't know nothing about that. I work out there. I know they don't play. They don't play. And you, Greg, bad as you is, they end up killing you. I said, oh, right. So he said, well, look, I raised y'all as Christians, and I'm not going to have this Muhammad stuff in my house. I want it in the trash. Take it out now. So we go to the backyard to the trash can, and my brother he lifted the can. I said, oh, I'm not putting that in there. No, sir. I said, no, I'm keeping these. Right. So I took them down in the basement. We had a drop ceiling, and I put them up in the drop ceiling. Right. And he asked us, did we throw them away? Yes, sir. So the next day, I didn't have a suit. I put on my white shirt, bow tie, and I went out there selling Muhammad Speaks. My brother wouldn't do it. He was scared. So I went on and stepped out. So he stopped going, right? All right, but I was still delinquent. I was still doing things, okay? So one of my homies, he asked me about, do you know they making liquor in the basement on such and such street, so-and-so house? I said, what? So he wanted me to go with him to burglarize the house. I agreed. So I became a victim of that crime. And my father, he saved me from going to juvenile prison. So he said to me, I'm gonna give you a choice. You either go to prison until you're 21 or you enlist in the military. So now going back, the times that we were going back and forth to the temple and to orientation class, you know, that was for about a month or more, right? So I was selling the Muhammad Speaks, I was selling the fish, I was selling the juice, I was doing everything, but I wasn't done with the street. And I caught this burden. So my father gave me that choice of either going to prison until I was 21, and I was 16 at the time, or enlist in the military. So I enlisted in the Marines. So when I go in the Marines, I finished boot camp, and I'm going to my next duty station, which was Camp Lejeune. When I get to Camp Lejeune, the gunnery sergeant told me to find a number of my bed, the number of the bunk that I'm going to be sleeping in, and bring it down to his office. So I went in the barracks to get that number, and some white Marines came over to me and said, what are you doing? I said, I'm following the gunnery sergeant's instructions to get the number of this bunk, and I'm taking it down to him. He said, you're on the wrong side. I said, no, he didn't say east, west, north, south, or none of that. He said, just find a bed and bring the number down. So I said, it's a corporal talking to me. His name is Corporal Hatcher. Never forgot his name. So the black Marines walked over and said, brother, come here. So I go over, and it was a black sergeant. I forget his name though, but he told me, he said, listen, the barracks is segregated. I said, what? So I goes off with my street mentality, right? Oh no, ain't no, man, we ain't going for that. No, that's my bed. I want that window. I'm going, right? So they pulled me, the brothers, and said, look, young brother, we tried all this already. You're gonna have a bad tour of service if you pursue this. I didn't listen. So, but that day I left that alone. And they kept coming at me, and I kept rebelling. They would tell me that I was assigned to mess duty or assigned to cleaning the head. The head is the bathroom, but I'm an administrative clerk. I work for the commanding officer. So I said, no, I'm not doing it. They write me up. So they wrote me up many times until I got what's called a summary court martial. And then I continued to rebel. Then I got a special court martial. Now the special court martial and the summary court martial, they combined, which they said that I would get 2 years in the federal penitentiary for the offenses that, occurred, right? So I said, well, look, I came into the Marines to escape prison. To make a long story short, they said, well, You do the 2 years in the federal penitentiary. You come back on active duty, finish your 4 years enlistment time, then you'll get an honorable discharge. I said, listen, whatever else you got to offer, other than going to prison and all of this that you're talking about, if you want to just put me out, I'll take that. Oh, well, we can give you an undesirable discharge. Would you want that? I said, yeah, give me that. Yeah, I'm not going to the penitentiary and coming back on no active duty. That's not what I came here for. I came here to escape prison in the civilian life, right? So I didn't have a lot of the teachings under my belt at that time. I knew that the white man was the devil. And, you know, I knew who God was, and
Yes,
I
sir.
knew who the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is, right? So I'm sent to the brig, and while I'm in the brig, this was in 1975, that's when the Honorable Elijah Muhammad left us. And while we were in the brig, I had met some brothers who were 5%ers that were in Vietnam, and we all stayed together, you know, and we had a radio, and they allowed us to listen to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad on Sunday. So this particular Sunday, we get the announcement. So we found out that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad left us, okay? So I got discharged. I wanted to become a Muslim. So I went to Temple number 12. Temple number 12 had set up a screening process of any believers who had not been to the temple in a number of months or whatever since the departure of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And they wanted to take a picture of you and this, that, and the other, right? So I'm like, oh, no, I'm not going through all that. It's like going to prison. So I said, oh, no, I left and never went back. All right, so I'm in the street now. In 1976, I say 75 earlier, that was 76 when I got discharged, 76. Okay, so I tried to go straight, tried to find a job. I went to the VA's first, the Veterans Administration, to see what kind of benefits I would have. And they gave me a Black female counselor. I'll never forget this. When she came out, she said to me, Mr. Moore, you went in there in the Marines and showed your behind, didn't you? I said, sister, that's not what I'm here for. I'm just here to see what kind of benefit. You ain't got nothing coming. You'll never get a job. You'll never own any property. Never, 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 never. That's all I heard from my sister. So I was walking out and I said, yeah, I'm gonna find me a gun. I'm gonna take me some money. So I went up my neighborhood, got with my homies, got criminally active again. And in 78, that's when I caught the case, went to prison. For my first adult conviction, they sentenced me to 30 to 60 years. And the judge said that he did not see any signs of rehabilitation for me. So he sentenced me to the maximum sentence of 30 to 60 years. While I was in the county prison, I came across the world community of Al-Islam. And I went under the banner of the world community of Al-Islam because the Nation of Islam wasn't there, but that was where my heart was at, with the nation, all right? So that was in 78. So from 78 to December 79, I was under Imam Warfdi Muhammad. And I had learned my prayers in Arabic and qualified to be an inmate imam. So they gave me a cell block that I would be in charge of. So I did that for 2 years. And then I got sentenced, I got sentenced November 1979. And they sent me to the state prison, which was Camp Hill, SCI, State Correctional Institution, Camp Hill, Pennsylvania. So when I get to Camp Hill, one afternoon I was running the yard and I was chanting as I was running. So a few brothers on the side, and when I made my lap, they said, yo, bro, can we talk to you when you're done? I said, yes, sir. So when I was done running, I went over to them. They said, brother, where you learn to run like that? I said, well, I was in the Marines and I used to be a FOI too, so that militancy is with me. She said, whoa. You said you used to be an FOI? I said, yes, sir. He said, nah, you always an FOI, brother. I said, no, the nation's gone. What are you talking about? We got to get over that, brother. We under the world community. He said, no, sir. Minister Farrakhan started the rebuilding, brother, the nation of Islam. I said, what? If you can prove that to me, I said, I will immediately send my resignation letter directly to Imam Warfi Muhammad with due respect that I will be going to help Minister Farrakhan rebuild the nation of Islam inside the prisons. Were you coming out tomorrow? I said, yeah, I'll be out here. So the next day, though, I got word they were sending me down the county. Now I'm up in upstate Pennsylvania. So they sending me to Philadelphia. So I never get to talk to the brothers that I seen that afternoon. So I get to Philadelphia. I just got there at Holmesburg Prison. And I had my property, we say property boxes with our personal items in it. And they gave me my cell. So I went to a water fountain to get some water. And as I was drinking the water, I seen from my peripheral vision a flicker of red. And I turned around, there was a cell on the corner right by the water fountain. I turned around, I looked, and there was a national on the back wall of this cell. I said, that's the national. So I walk over respectfully. Assalamu alaikum, brother. He said, wa alaikum salam. He said, my brother, I said, you got the national? Yes, sir. I said, I thought the Imam Warfi Muhammad said we doing away with all. He said, brother, the nation of Islam is back. I said, that brother's up Camp Hill told me that. I said, can you prove that to me? He said, come in, sir. So I go in. He had the study guide letters and everything laid out on the floor. The cell. And I seen him. He said, look, read this. So I go to read it, and it was about the study groups that was isolated though, right? And I said, what? I said, well, look, brother, can I read all this? He said, yeah, you go ahead. So I stayed in that brother's cell and read every single page, every letter, everything he had in there. And that was on a Thursday I got there. So the next day was Friday. Friday is Juma. I was invited to give a cook ball because I'm a new brother in the institution and I'm a inmate imam. So they asked, the resident imam asked me to give a cook ball. So I agreed. Well, I took this opportunity to announce that I was leaving. And I spoke about what I remember of the discipline of the FOI and the believers of the Nation of Islam. And I was received well. The two brothers who were the resident imam and assistant resident imam, they were former followers. And they were under a brother by the name of Rudy Mims, who was Big Amin. Big Amin, he was a captain of Temple Number 12, and he was also a personal bodyguard of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And he was still alive at that time. He passed away, may Allah be pleased with him, forever pleased with him. And the other two brothers were his lieutenants. And they said to me, brother, we don't have no problem with your message. Matter of fact, whatever you and the brothers in this prison need to get your classes or anything, we will help you with that. Because they had connections with the warden, and because we established that as the Nation of Islam. So that was still there. It was just under the banner of the World Community of Al-Islam. So the respect for the Nation of Islam was still strong at that time. But they didn't want to see this happen with the rebuilding of the Nation of Islam. So the brothers received us and they gave us a classroom where we set up our FOI class. And I became a lieutenant at Holmesburg. And I missed the part, brother Joshua. I gotta say this, I missed the part. You familiar with brother Jaron Muhammad that writes in the Final Call? I think the column is called Africa.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Well, brother Jaron, when I didn't get to that part because I got a lot to share.
Take your time.
I'm trying to give it as best I can. Well, prior to me becoming a lieutenant, the brother who was the inmate minister, Brother Emmanuel, he became the inmate minister by meeting Brother Jerron, who came into the prison with a teacher who teaches in the prison Black history. He came in for Black History Month. And Brother Emmanuel came down. I wasn't there. This was before I got to Holmesburg. He came down and Brother Jerron asked at the end of the event, are there any brothers that want to learn more about the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad? So Brother Emmanuel said he did. So Brother Jerron gave him a package. And that's how those lessons, the study guide letters and all that I mentioned earlier got in the brother's cell, which his name was Brother Charles X. Beasley, by the way. I didn't mention his name, but that was Brother Charles. So Brother Emmanuel was asking me to be a lieutenant. And I said, brother, I like to do everything official. So I can't accept that position until I get some kind of permission from the outside leadership, from Temple number 12, right? Or you can call Brother Jerron. I'll give you his phone number. So he gave me his number and I called Brother Jerron. And Brother Jerron told me that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan had commissioned him to go into the prisons to seek out brothers who would be willing to take the commission to help him rebuild the Nation of Islam in the prisons. And he said, Brother Emmanuel is the inmate minister. So yes, sir, brother, you can accept that appointment, right? He said, I communicate with Minister Farrakhan every day. I said, oh, yes, sir, that was good enough for me, right? So fast forward. We did a lot of work there at Holmesburg Prison, okay? We got the attention of the prison administration, and they were in the process before I had to leave to go back upstate to bring in Brother Jerron to start our services. I got sent back up to Camp Hill though, but before I left, Brother Jerron said to me, he said, Brother Gregory, when you go back up Camp Hill, can you start the process up there? I said, well, brother, his brother's up Camp Hill. He said, what? I said, yes, sir, I met him. They told me that the nation was back. And I didn't find out real until I got here at Holmesburg, because I couldn't see the proof that they was going to show me. So he said, well, what's the brother's name? I said, well, his name is Brother Myron X, right? He said, we don't know him. I never heard of him. I said, well, he told me that Minister Linward is the one that he was in communication with. He said, well, look, brother, I'm instructing you to go up there. You tell Brother Myron that you have been appointed officially as the inmate minister. I said, no, sir, I can't do that, Brother Jerron. You're going to have to at least put me on the phone with Minister Farrakhan. I'm not going up there and create, division, that kind of thing, right? Because that's what it would have cost. So when I go back up, I told Brother Myron about the situation. I said, well, brother, I'm here to help you with the work to get the Nation of Islam services reestablished. Whatever Brother Jerron, when he ever respond back to me, whatever that is going to be, brother, we deal with it then, but I'm with you to help you. He said, well, I want to appoint you as the captain. I said, captain, brother? Right? So I accepted it. All right, fast forward. So we are working to get the Nation of Islam reestablished there at Camp Hill. And I wanted to say earlier too, Brother Joshua, that my brother, who initially met Brother Raymond first, right? When I went in the Marines, he left the nation completely, right? He never got his X, but he never went back. And I don't want to go into details why, but I want to say this. He became a bishop, and he's a bishop to this day, Wilmington, North Carolina. And he's been working with our student minister, Tyrone Muhammad in Wilmington. In the, yes, sir, in the Teller Homes projects to reduce the drugs and violence, the problem that they have there. Well, that problem was years ago. I don't know what the update is today. But anyway, I wanted to go back and make a comment on my brother pursuing, he's a Pentecostal bishop, right? But he loves the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. He still supports the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. I just got to get him to come out. Yes, sir. So with me, I'm speaking in terms of, right? So back at Camp Hill. So we start the process of putting a proposal together to present to the warden to get the Nation of Islam services reestablished at Camp Hill. Our ranks, when I first got there, it was 8 brothers. Our ranks grew to 25. Oh, you mentioned drilling? Oh, how could I forget this? We were in the yard drilling. Yes, we were in the yard drilling. I have to say it because they called me to the office, to the captain's office, captain of the guard. And they said that what we did was violation of the prison rules and regulations. There's no militancy, no marching in the prison. And he said, but I respect the discipline that I see in you brothers, right? I forget his name today, but he said, as long as the superintendent doesn't force me to stop you, you go on and continue. And we did. No problem after that. No problem after that. Okay, so in 1981, can you see this?
Yes, sir.
In 1981, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan sent a letter to the superintendent. And the letter reads, "Dear sir, this letter comes to verify that I, Louis Farrakhan, National Representative of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Messenger of Allah, am rebuilding his divine work of resurrecting and civilizing the Black man and woman of America. Mr. Muhammad's teachings and program has proved over nearly 50 years that it is the best program to rehabilitate our brother and sister who are in the prison house of ignorance and those also who are confined in actual prison due to their ignorance. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad's program can help every penal institution in America. To this end, we would like to once again reestablish Messenger Muhammad's program of rehabilitation in the penal institutions of Pennsylvania. At Camp Hill specifically, we would appreciate it if you would recognize Brother Jerron of Temple Number 12 of Philadelphia as our coordinator of prison service. We recognize the efforts of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad there and hope that you would grant them the same rights of religious worship as you have granted to others. I look forward to one day visiting your institution. Thank you for your cooperation of this request. Sincerely, Louis Farrakhan, National Representative of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Messenger of Allah. And that was July 13th, 1981. Now, this one is a follow-up. The same day, July 13th, 1981, he addressed this letter to Brother Myron and myself. And he says, "Dear Brother Minister and Captain, I have been receiving your wonderful letters and reports of your progress, and I am always happy to hear from you. May this letter find you and the believers in the best of health and spirit, enjoying the blessings of Allah. Please forgive me for my lack of contact, as I have been on the road and I only get to see my wife and family one day out of the week. I have read your letters and have sent a communication to the chaplain and superintendent authorities. I have asked Brother Jerron to aid and assist you in your endeavors to follow the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Messenger of Allah. I am so pleased to see you standing up for our Lord and Savior, who stood up so boldly and strongly for us. So we covered this ground of fighting for the right to worship our God during the time of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's presence amongst us. It seems as though we are going to be made to cover that ground again. Our brothers in prisons across this land are suffering prosecution because they want to stand up for the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and prison authorities do not desire to see the messenger's teachings again. This, in my judgment, is folly on the part of prison administrators, for now the prisons are erupting, and they shall continue to erupt because of the terrible condition under which the inmates have to live. And trying to serve Islam as taught by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is the only salvation for our poor brothers and sisters who make up nearly 70% of the prison population. Help me, dear brothers, to save the lives of our people. I am willing to give my life for your life and the lives of our people, for your life and their lives are sacred to Allah, the Messenger, and the righteous. Strive hard, dear brothers, to overcome the internal problems, and watch out for the smart, crooked deceiver who would try to put one over on you. Remember, when an unrighteous man brings you news, look carefully into it, lest you harm a people in ignorance and then be sorry for what you did. May Allah bless and guide and protect you and the believing community. Assalamu alaikum, your brother and servant, Min Farrakhan, National Representative of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Messenger of Allah. Yes, sir.
Beautiful history. All praise due to Allah. Go, okay. Yes, sir, Brother Gregory. Beautiful. Yes, and Brother Greg, I just want to read to you some of the comments, people showing love all across the country. Can't wait to put this on YouTube. My sister Miriam says, Assalamu alaikum, Brother Joshua, and Brother Gregory, alaikum salam. Brother Nelson Ramos from Massachusetts holding it down. So, alaikum salam, beautiful people of God. Sister Khadija Kareem says, Assalamu alaikum, alaikum salam. Thank you all for watching. My sister Naima says, Assalamu alaikum, alaikum salam. And Sister Catherine says, all praises due to Allah. Beautiful.
All praises due to Allah. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Okay, so what I wanted to ask you is, okay, you gave us a lot of information. What was it like being a captain in prison?
Wow. Well, I would say it was a great responsibility. Having men under your charge and not being trained, properly trained in the mosque, making sure that everything we do is in accordance with what the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is teaching us. So it was a great responsibility. It was shouldering something heavy. And just to give you an example, we earned the respect of this particular prison. I was in, by the way, more than one prison because of my strong stand. They transferred me from prison to prison. And every prison I went to, I continued to stand and get us established there. They continued to transfer me. So this one incident at Camp Hill where we just read the letters that the minister sent, I was on another cell block and Brother Myron is on another cell block. So they were in the yard. I was out in the yard this day. I was in my cell block. So the sergeant on their cell block, when they came in from the yard, had said, you boys go to your cell. And according to Brother Myron, he's been talking to the lieutenant of the guard about this sergeant, that he's disrespecting the brothers. So this day he said, that's it, we tired of this. We demand to see a lieutenant or captain concerning this problem. We're not going to our cell until we talk to somebody. So I didn't know this was going on. I'm in my cell block. So guards came down with what they had long, thick oak sticks. It was 8 guards. and it was only 5 brothers that they was taking out of this particular cell block. So some inmates were coming into their cell block from work, and they were coming into the block where I was at. And around that time, it was what we have shower time. It's in the evening, around between 3 and 4 o'clock. So one of the brothers, who was a lost found, came to my cell and said, "Brother Gregory, they locking the brothers up." I said, "What? What you mean?" "Yeah, they got these sticks and everything. They got them handcuffed and they taking them to the hole." So I was ready to go get in the shower. So I ran back to my cell, got completely dressed, and I told one of the brothers, Brother Preston, what the situation was. And I said, "I'm going up here to talk to the CO. I want you to come with me," right? So I goes to the desk to talk to the CO. I said, "Excuse me, sir. I was just informed that some of our brothers, Nation of Islam, were locked down. I'm trying to find out what the reason is that they were locked down." He said, "Mr. Moore, go to your cell." I said, "Sir, no, sir. Not until I find out what's going on with my brothers." So that's the responsibility. You know, I could not allow my brothers to be locked down and not know why they're being locked down, and know that solitary confinement is a place out of sight, out of mind, that inmates end up either drugged or killed. So I wanted to know what was happening with my brothers. And I told this officer to get a lieutenant over here. I'm not locking up. Not until you get a lieutenant over here. And I talked to him, and he gives me a better response than what you gave. He said, "I'm telling you again to go to your cell." I said, "Officer, if you don't get on that phone, we'll just start with you, because we don't know what's happening with our brothers in the hole." Okay. He jumps on the phone. So lieutenant came on the block. Lieutenant Salamite was his name. He comes on the block and he said, "Okay, Mr. Moore, what's the problem?" So I told him. He said, "Well, it was a problem on the cell block where the men refused to lock up. So we investigated. So we locked them up until we find out what the situation is." I said, "Well, I'm the inmate student captain for the Nation of Islam here at Camp Hill. And wherever you got my men at is where I want to be. So you want to go too?" I said, "Sir, I just explained it. You're a lieutenant, you understand? All right, well, let me get some handcuffs. We'll take you over." So I told Brother Preston to stay out, right, and take care of the brotherhood, okay, while we gone. So we go to the hole. They wrote us up, wrote a misconduct, saying that we refused to obey an order. We took a stand in front of other inmates, which caused a disturbance, which wasn't no disturbance, right? So they sentenced me to 2 years in solitary confinement and a transfer, right? And Brother Myron as well. Brother Myron was transferred to another institution called SCI, or State Correctional Institution, Huntington, Pennsylvania. And 6 months later, they sent me to the same prison. So we end up being in the same prison again. Now, the prison they sent me to, and at this time, this is 1982, it was only 6 prisons in the state of Pennsylvania at that time. And this prison they sent us to was supposed to be the last stop for problem inmates, they call it. It's the last stop. In other words, they're gonna break you or kill you here, right? So I got transferred to Huntington, where Brother Myron was at. And we began our work there at Huntington, peacefully, following, all the proper rules and regulations. We put in proposals, did all of that, right? And I would hold group circles in the yard, reading the final call and getting reports from the brothers on their day and different things like that. So, then you have the gamblers over here that's gambling. You got the homosexuals over here doing their thing. You got the Christians over here doing their thing. Then you got whoever over here doing their thing. And we right here in our little circle, right? So the guard comes over and just stand there listening. So I get called into what they call the center inside. They called me inside. So I go inside and they said, Mr. Moore, you cannot hold unauthorized, unofficial meetings in the yard. You have to have permission from the ward, from the superintendent and the chaplain's office. I said, well, we're proposing for the right to worship. You know that, right? So we don't have an official place or room or anything, chapel or anything to go to. So we out here just talking and sharing our final call newspaper. That's it. Well, you can't do it. And if you continue to do it, we're gonna have to lock you up in solitary confinement. Well, that happened to me several times at Huntington, several times. I'm the only one. Nobody else get locked up. I refuse to allow that to happen. I'm the one talking. They listening to me. So I finally filed a lawsuit in 1983. In 1984, the state of Pennsylvania called me into the warden's office, the deputy attorney general, and said that they were ready to give us an out-of-court settlement. And would I accept it? I said, well, you know, it's not really will I accept it. I said, I am helping Minister Farrakhan rebuild the Nation of Islam. So I will have to talk to him first before I can accept your offer of out-of-court settlement. I didn't tell you about how I got the minister's phone number. Wow, that's what I was saying. There's so much that I missed because I know the time, you know, the factor of time. So let me just go to it, okay? But I got Minister Farrakhan's phone number from Brother Jerron. That's how I got the minister's phone number. And I called the minister and he gave me permission to call anytime. And I was writing him letters. He answered every single letter, right? And this is a letter that I'm gonna share with you. It was in 1985 after they transferred me out of Huntington. They transferred me out of Huntington in 1985 and sent me to Pittsburgh. It's called State Correctional Institution, Pittsburgh. So this is a letter from Minister Farrakhan knowing about what happened to me, just so you can see. Dear Brother Gregory, Assalamu alaikum. I was informed of your call on February 4th, 1985, and I was happy to hear from you, but concerned about your transfer within the Pennsylvania prison system. I was happy to hear that you are striving hard in Allah's way, despite the setback of your move with respect to the progress with the Brotherhood at Huntington. My brother, I am sure the brothers at Huntington will miss your strong leadership, but Allah, excuse me. I'm sorry, bro. I'm like a little emotional. But Allah is the best planner. Now it's time for your brothers to use what you were able to teach them of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. The Brotherhood in Pittsburgh can certainly use your knowledge of the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad to better their understanding and growth. For this reason, we are asking that you serve as the minister in training within the Pittsburgh prison system. Encourage them to read and study, that they will grow to help us in this great work of resurrecting our mentally dead Black brothers and sisters. For without the knowledge of self, God, and the devil, we are doomed to repeat history. Remember, you are charged with a great responsibility. And although you will receive the assistance of Brother Jamil Muhammad, that's Brother Minister Jamil, in Philadelphia, you will carry the weight. May Allah bless you with success in your work. Your brother and servant, Louis Farrakhan. All praises due to Allah. Yes, sir.
Oh,
Yes.
beautiful. Go ahead, Greg. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so what took place once you transferred? Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
When I got to Pittsburgh, okay, it was only two brothers there, and the two brothers were trying to get services started, and I had just got the out of court settlement at Huntington, so that affects the whole state of Pennsylvania, even though it was filed at Huntington. Once the state attorney general's office offers the settlement, it's supposed to automatically apply to all the prisons in that state. So I told the brothers, well, you know, we talked and different things like that. If I could say this, Brother Joshua, during the rebuilding, there was a lot of obstacles internal because a lot of brothers were being pulled to splitter groups. Okay, so these two young brothers that I met were affected by that. Mm. And they were saying that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan was changing the teachings. Mm. Right? And I had to deal with all of that. And the two brothers that I'm referring to now, they listened to me. Mm. And they agreed to be with me. Mm. Yes, sir. All praises due to Allah.
Yes, sir.
So we drafted a proposal and we sent it to the superintendent and the chaplain's office for the right to worship. And I mentioned, of course, that I just got transferred here. You know, I just got transferred here from Huntington.
Yes, sir.
Got an out-of-court settlement there at Huntington. So they didn't give no resistance. They only said, you need an outside representative. Oh, okay, no problem. So I called the minister. And the minister gave me permission to contact the ministers in the surrounding areas of Pittsburgh that may be available to come in, talk to them, and tell them that you talked to me, right? So I contacted Minister Van Muhammad of Youngstown, Ohio.
Yes, sir.
And Minister Van put me in contact with a brother in Pittsburgh that was the study group coordinator. His name was Brother Jerry X. Gross, right? So yes, he gave me his phone number, called Brother Jerry. We met on a visit. We discussed what we want to establish here at Pittsburgh. And for me to put in the request for him to come in to meet with the superintendent and the chaplain. And we did this. This was in 1985, the time of this letter, same year, 1985. And we had 15 brothers at this time. Yeah, we had 15 brothers at this time. Yes, sir. All praises due to Allah.
Beautiful. Yes, sir.
All praises due to Allah. And most of them from Pittsburgh. They were from Pittsburgh. Most of the brothers were from Pittsburgh. Because you have brothers from different parts of Pennsylvania in the prison. But the dominant inmates in the prisons was Philadelphia and Pittsburgh. Okay, but you had some from Harrisburg, Yorktown, York, Pennsylvania, different other areas. So anyway, we got it established. Brother Jerry started coming in. We had our services. They gave us a day for FOI class. And the FOI class was conducted without our outside representative. They allowed us to do it independently. So we had everything except the very key to open the chapter. They didn't resist on nothing that we requested. So we got our Ramadan, the Eids, we had banquets. I still have pictures from those events. Minister Jamil, Captain Dennis Muhammad was my guest. We had a beautiful time in Pittsburgh. Most of my incarceration was done at Pittsburgh. So I think I have one more Oh, I said, you know what? I'm gonna just move, because that was Huntington. That was another letter from the minister, but it was Huntington, and I want to keep the flow where I'm at right now. All right.
Yes, sir.
I got several letters from the minister. Let's just say that, okay? And he was giving reports on our problems and progress, on our progress and problems. All right. That was his phrase to me, to write reports on your progress and problems to me daily, regardless
Yes, sir.
of who else is assisting me. All right. And I was able to call him whenever I needed to call him, or if I just wanted to talk. He said, if I'm there, I will accept the call.
Mm.
I do want to share this, because a lot of our people think that the Nation of Islam is a legal clearinghouse, that whenever someone is in trouble, with the law, or fighting a case in court on appeal, that the nation would be the ones to come and help them. Okay, we got a lot of that, right? And I'm bringing it up because there was an incident where a young brother said, Brother Gregory, why don't we have a halfway house? So I said, well, brother, actually, the halfway house is the mosque. When we get out and we go to the mosque, we got our brotherhood. We got the believers, to help and assist us the best they can. Oh, no, brother, we should have a place that we could go, right? So it bothered me so bad, so much, that I wanted to hear what the minister had to say about it.
Yes, sir.
So I said, brother, I want you to come with me when I call Minister Farrakhan. And I want you to stand right here next to me while I'm talking to him, so that you can hear his voice, that he's actually talking to me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Right? And he can go back and tell whoever put that in his head, I heard Mr. Farrakhan say, and the minister, when I told the minister what the problem was, he said, well, brother, you tell them that the mosque is the halfway house.
Mm.
They said, you hear that? So that was the response. And then the young brother went back and told whoever that was, and that issue never came up again. Never came up again. But it was many issues similar and more serious, by the way. And the minister helped solve whatever it was. As long as I stood my ground, we got it done. If I would have said, oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. All praises due to Allah. I don't want us to go off the air without saying this.
Yes, sir. Take your time. I
was released from prison in 2011. And I reported to the mosque. I'm starting processing, complete my registration, because we still got to go to the mosque and complete our registration when we get out. All right. We soldiering on the inside. That title and everything else we had is okay. But when we come home, we got to fall in. We got to fall in rank. All right. So yes, that's exactly what I did. And I get a phone call one afternoon. And it was Student National Prison Reform Minister Abdullah Muhammad. And we didn't even get to talk about Minister Abdullah yet, how we came into contact, right? That was in 1990. But he called me and he asked me, would I be the Delaware Valley Student Prison Reform Minister? And I said, brother, I'm honored. But you think that I could really take on that responsibility now without going? He said, brother, you did over 30 years. And most of that has been struggling to get the Nation of Islam established. You more than qualified. So I accepted, humbly. So in 2012, I get a phone call from one of the believers, a brother Lamont Muhammad from Chester, Pennsylvania. Brother Lamont was sent to Camp Hill where we had that incident at.
Yes, sir.
The minister sent student minister Harold 7X Griffin, who who passed away, may Allah be pleased with him, returned to Allah. He was the minister in Chester at this time. This was 1982. And he sent Minister Harold, Brother Lamont, and Brother Jerron up to Camp Hill to investigate why we were locked down, why the brothers were locked down, because I sent the minister a report. Okay, so Brother Lamont, he called me, this is 2012, and he said, Brother Gregory, do you want to go to Bowie, Maryland to hear the minister? I said, what? Yes, sir, because I haven't been nowhere yet. I said, yes, sir, yes, sir. So he said, all right, well, you can ride with me and my wife. So they went to pick up another sister, Sister Barbara Muhammad. So the three of them and me in the car, and we drive into Bowie, Maryland, to Bowie University, right? So as we drive, Brother Lamont was talking about Camp Hill and what we did at Camp Hill and how we struggled in the prison to get the Nation of Islam reestablished. So we talking there, he was talking about how I was able to call Minister Farrakhan and Sister Lisa Farrakhan, always made sure the phone call got to Minister Farrakhan and this and the messages and what have you, right? So we talking about all that driving. So when we get to the university, Brother Lamont and his wife and Sister Barbara, they going to sit in the VIP section, right? I know I'm not a VIP. I got to sit, you know, in the audience. So as we walking down, Brother Lamont said, where you going, Brother Gregory? I said, I'm going over to sit over here. He said, no, sir. Come on over here. And Mr. Victor Muhammad from study group in Pittsburgh, he was sitting there. He said, Brother Gregory, and he has a history with me too, because he came into the prison at Mahanoy, another prison that we never talked about. So he was sitting there. He said, no, you can take this seat right next to me. So I took a seat right next to him. And so Brother Lamont and his wife were sitting in front of me. So they said, well, Brother Lamont said, Brother Greg, you know who you sitting next to? I said, who? No, the sister. So I looked, I said, no, sir. He said, brother, that's Sister Lisa Farrakhan. So Sister Lisa says to Brother Lamont, that's Brother Gregory. Wait a minute. Gregory X Moore? Brother Lamont said, she remember my whole name. So Brother Lamont said, yeah, that's him. Brother, you home? I said, yes, ma'am. She said, oh, praises due to Allah. Do the minister know you home? I said, well, Sister Lisa, I was told that because we weren't supposed to call the minister because of his health and all of that, that I couldn't contact the minister. So I asked my minister, he told me that those restrictions, he couldn't do that, right? So she said, well, you're going to see him today. And she got up, the program hadn't, the message hadn't started yet. So she got up and went in the back of the stage and came back and told me she just talked to Brother Joshua. And Brother Joshua is talking to the minister. And when he comes back out, he's going to give me his response. So she went back up. Brother Joshua came out. He was standing on the stage. And she went up to talk to him. And I was sitting there. And she pointed to me. And she came back and said, Brother Joshua said that the minister said that you can come to the press room where the students have their press conference with him after the lecture. So brother, wow. After the lecture, I went to the press room. I'm trying not to be emotional, forgive me if I do. And I sat there and listened to the press conference. And after the minister was done, Brother Joshua brought me over to him. And he said, welcome home, brother. All praises due to Allah. And I said, yes, and he grabbed me and was squeezing me. And wow, Brother Joshua whispered in my ear and said, Brother Gregory, don't squeeze the minister so tight. I'm saying the minister squeezing me. So the minister said, brother, a brother had passed away in one of the prisons. And our captain, our regional captain here in Philadelphia, Captain Anthony Muhammad, had reported it. And Minister Farrakhan asked me, right? He asked me, he said, did you know the brother Shaheed? that returned to Allah. And I was like, how did the millions of people he deals with daily, he remembered Brother Shaheed, an incarcerated believer, right? And he asked me, he said, did you know him? I said, yes, sir, but not as an active believer. I knew him before he joined the Nation of Islam when I first went to Holmesburg prison. He said, would you say that he was a good brother? I said, yes, sir, I would say that. He said, good. He said, well, what have you been doing since you've been home? I said, well, our student National Prison Reform Minister, Abdullah Muhammad, he appointed me as the student prison reform minister for the Delaware Valley. He said he did, excited like that. He did. Yes, he said, well, brother, go to work. So all praises due to Allah. So I met the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan at Bow University. And brother, I was lifted up. That's all I'm gonna say. I was lifted up. I was lifted up. Yes, sir. Allahu Akbar.
Allahu Akbar. Praise to Allah. So many people are showing you love all across the country. We want to get to these comments. Perfect. Okay, so my sister Naima says, let's make family Islam. Praise to Allah. Minister Jamil says, Brother Gregory is a strong and good brother. He is still pushing. Take your time, bro. He bear witness to the truth that he is saying. He was blessed to be the minister of Philadelphia at that time. My sister Miriam says, a beautiful letter and powerful history. Thank you for sharing. Okay, he just said that. Mr. Jamil said the State Department of Correction was full of mischievous devils who tried to make it hard for us whenever they could. Beautiful. All right, perfect. All right. Thank you very much for everyone who's watching. All right. Yes, sir. We have a quick 60-second commercial break for all of the sponsors of the People's Podcast, and we're coming right back to our brother, Brother Gregory, man, who has a powerful testimony and giving us, man, just a lot of inspiration as well as information. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for every like, share, and subscription, as well as donation on the People's Podcast.
A camera and a drone. He does television and film editing. Please reach out to him if you need any of those services. Sister Miriam's ABC I Love Me, children's book and coloring book, and now Spanish book. All three available on Amazon.com. Sister Naima's Stay on Point Dance Academy, LLC. She teaches ballet virtually to young girls all across the country, right here in the studios of Atlanta, Georgia. Brother Kenneth's Bow Tie Maker Extraordinaire. He'll ship you bow ties anywhere across the nation. Dr. Henry Carter's King Henry Turkey Legs, right here in Atlanta, Georgia. Brother Rashad Muhammad's COVID-19 Disinfected Cleaning Services, out of Chicago. Student Minister Sharif Muhammad's book, A Soldier in the Movement of Christ, available on adulsharif.com. And lastly, Brother Joshua Muhammad's book, Cleopatra, as well as No Father, No Excuse, both available on Amazon. If you would like to donate or...
Thank you, everyone who continues to show love all across the country. Brother said, yes, Brother Harold from New Orleans, then Atlanta. Thank you for that. Hey, Brother Roosevelt says, all praises to Allah. Thank you for showing love, representing New Orleans, consistently as well. Okay, so once you came home, how did you're married, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. How did you find love? What was that process like?
Oh, brother, all praises due to Allah. Well, so the appointment to the student prison reform minister for the Delaware Valley, when I started working and getting the prison ministry together in March 12, Minister Abdullah, he contacted me and told me that there was a sister that he wanted to assist me. And the sister is Sister Catherine Muhammad. So I scheduled a meeting at the mosque, and Sister Catherine, she came and we sat and I interviewed her, asking her questions about her interests. Why did she have an interest in the prison ministry? And she was telling me her story with a family member who got caught up in the system but they didn't go to prison. And she said that because of what she went through, that's what gave her interest in the prison ministry. And
Yes, sir.
she was active with the prison ministry before I was released. That was shut down for whatever reason. It was shut down, and we are reestablishing the prison ministry in Mars 12. And so I told her what I was planning to do with the work in the Delaware Valley, and we're going to be doing community outreach, and we're going to be doing fundraisers and different things like that. And she was fully committed with it, and she expressed her love for the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, the teacher of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the Nation of Islam, and all of that. And it was so beautiful that she shared all of those stories with me. And so we went out, started going to outreaches and different things. And I said, sister, I think I need to see the captain to request a courtship. I think that's how it went. So it was from that meeting of her joining with me, reestablishing the prison ministry in Mars 12.
Beautiful. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And I would say this as well. We have been working ever since 2013, and the response to our people, the response from our people to the prison ministry is not always favorable. So you know, we have to deal with all those kind of things. So I remember Minister Abdullah saying to me that, brother, you may end up being just you and your wife. And she has been standing with me ever since. All praises due to Allah. Yes, sir. All praises.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And do you have children?
Yes, sir. I have one daughter.
Beautiful.
And 6 grandchildren. And I have 3 stepdaughters. And 3, wait a minute. I want to get that right now. You know, it has so many of them, right? Let me see. Marley, Aaron, Kai, Eli. So 4 step grandchildren.
Beautiful. Oh, praise due to Allah. Yes, sir. And what type of music do you listen to, Brother Gregory?
Oh, brother. You know, when I was in prison, that's when I found out about rap music. When I was in prison. I happened to be in solitary confinement in the hole. And I heard these young brothers. I said, what is that? So I'm standing on the gate, the cell gate, listening to them. I said, wow, they got a flow and a beat to this, you know, and the language they were using. I'm like, man, where did it come from? So I knew nothing about hip hop before going to prison. I went to prison in 78, right? So rap music, of course, Positive, Rap, Public Enemy, Cam, you know, all of them. I was able to, in Pittsburgh, in those other prisons like Huntington, Camp Hill, they didn't have no black music coming through. So in Pittsburgh, I was able to watch BET and see Video Soul, Rap City, and a few others. I forget all of them, but LP Video LP, right? So rap would be on my list, but my favorite music is R&B, jazz.
Jazz. Okay. Yes, sir. R&B and jazz.
Yes, sir.
Perfect.
And wow, like I said earlier, it's so much. When I was 13 years old, we had a band in our community, in our neighborhood, and the band was called the New Experience Ltd. I played congas.
Okay.
And we were one of the top local bands in Philadelphia at that time. And that went on until we broke up, I think, 2 years later. So I was about 15, 16 years old, right? And we played we played Santana, Samandi. I don't know if you heard of them. I know you heard of Santana. Samandi, you heard of Samandi?
No, so that's Mandy, but I'm familiar with Carlos Santana for sure.
Mandrill, Cool in the Gang.
I'm familiar with Cool in the Gang.
Right. So we played that style of music. Yes, sir.
Beautiful. Yes, sir. I had two more questions for you, and thank you everyone who continues to watch, show love to the People's Podcast. You spoke of if you were incarcerated, how did you have connections with my father?
Oh, that's a good question. Right. If you recall, I mentioned earlier that the minister gave me permission to contact different mosques, to get help.
Yes, sir.
So the prison administrators gave us approval to sell, by the way, this a big one now, to sell the Final Call newspaper, sell to sell. And how we did that is we had what is called inmate cash slips. So the inmate would write the amount that they want taken off of their account for the Final Call newspaper. All right. So yes, we had the final calls coming, but they were coming from Chicago. But they gave us permission now to sell books and to sell bean pies, right? And other products. And they were permitting us to also bring in tapes. And at that time, it was, what do you call it? VHS, is that it? VHS, I think.
Yes, sir.
And cassette tapes, right? So I was calling around to get donations, and I wasn't getting any good responses yet. So I had a final call, and I opened it, and I seen Tape Connection, right? I said, Tape Connection, I ain't checked them out. Oh, it's a phone number there. So I said, let me call. So I called, and Brother William answered the phone. I introduced myself. He was so happy to hear that we were permitted to get products into the prisons, right? And he asked me, what did I need? And I told him what we would like to have. He said, well, what's the process of shipping it to you? Brother William Muhammad, now your father, student, Minister Abdul Sharif Muhammad, sent tapes and books, no charge. He said, whatever you get off the sale, and if you want to send something, you want to donate something, whatever you want to do, that's okay. But he sent them free to us. And we established our Nation of Islam account that we use to cover the monies to cover our Eids and our banquets. Matter of fact, did I say that Minister Jamil was a guest at one of our banquets?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And Captain Dennis Muhammad.
Beautiful.
Thanks to Minister Abdul Sharif Muhammad, your father, for the love he's shown the believers, the incarcerated believers. Yes, sir.
Beautiful. All praise due to Allah. I love to hear these stories.
And by the way, he was in Philadelphia for the 10,000 Fearless training some years ago. And that's when I met him in person. And I introduced myself and he remembered. Yes.
Beautiful. Yes, sir. And Brother Greg, what would you like your legacy to be, sir?
Well, my legacy would be to continue to strive to be a student and helper of the Honorable Minister Min Farrakhan in the Nation of Islam until I return to Allah. That's all I have.
Beautiful. And what an incredible legacy that is. I look forward to meeting you, inshallah, sir, in person so that I can hear some more conversations. I want to thank you on behalf of myself, my family, and the viewing audience of the People's Podcast for your sacrifices, the sacrifices of your family as well, for you to help establish Islam here in North America, but primarily in the prison systems. We thank you for that. And then that you came out and you still stood 10 toes down with your faith, brother. That's very inspiring. May Allah continue to bless you and your family.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, Brother Joshua. And please, please extend a special greeting to your father. And may Allah continue to bless you and your family and all that you do and your family does to serve the nation of Islam and our people.
Praise due to Allah. The honor is ours. This is Joshua Leonard Muhammad signing off for the People's Podcast. Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Alaikum salam, sir.
Thank you all for watching. Thank you, everyone. Shout out to everybody on YouTube as well. Everyone who watched it. Thank you.